Hello, everyone joining in. I'm Dr. Kelly Martin Chu, Amazon bestselling author, speaker, and dating and relationship coach for women. But what many of you don't know is I ran a wellness business for many years. So today's conversation is all about boosting your immunity and doing it in a simple and really inexpensive way. And before I dive into that, I just want to see here. We want to see if we can share this with our community. Okay. So what has life looked like in kind of semi-quarantine in the Shu household? Well, one thing I can tell you is bringing our focus to our immunity without getting too much into fear. We've definitely upped our game. And in today's call, I want to share with you a couple different things. I first want to share with you what won't work, what absolutely won't work. You need to know that. We're also going to share some simple things that you can have around your house, some things you can do daily to boost your immunity. And by boosting your immunity, we're also boosting your confidence that you will withstand and move through this time of the pandemic. And then the third thing we want to do is talk about, I've got three like my favorite supplements that I take every day, whether or not there's a pandemic, because immunity is key during this pandemic. And so it's about building you up and boosting you up so that if for some reason you are exposed or have been exposed, that your body can fight off the virus. So let's first talk about what won't work. So the other day I was out on the trail and I was walking with my family, and I think it's so important during this time is if you are allowed to get outside, make sure you're getting fresh air. So we're on this walk, and a couple was approaching us in their running gear, and I overheard the woman say, well, one thing I'm definitely going to do is I'm going to call my doctor and make sure I have tons of antibiotics. And I almost like rubbernecked and almost like engaged, but they were off. And really, you know, who am I to impede my or put my knowledge in where it isn't being asked? So here is one thing that won't work is antibiotics. Antibiotics are meant to kill bacteria. And so if you are exposed to a virus, which we're exposed to bacteria and viruses and fungus every single day of our lives, and yet people don't even think about that. And so if you think that during this pandemic, you're just going to start popping antibiotics, it won't work. Antibiotics don't work against a virus. So that's one thing in all of the scare. I don't want you to start taking antibiotics thinking that that will fight off the virus. In fact, if there's not something that your body is trying to fight, antibiotics could actually decrease your immunity. And here's why, is that the gut, your belly, the small intestine has really good bugs in it. And when I say bugs, not like little creepy crawly things, but we naturally have what's called the gut flora. And flora is like the gut bacteria that help to break down food. It helps to create certain nutrients that you need from your food. And so we've got good bugs and we've got bad bugs. And when we're sick is because we have more of the quote bad bugs taking over and colonizing than we do the good bugs. And the thing about antibiotics and how they work, and they really can save lives, and not only save lives, they can help you fight off something. And I do believe that there's a time and a place for properly used antibiotic. But when you take antibiotics, it kills off all the gut flora, good and bad. And so when my patients used to have to get on antibiotics, is we would have to rebalance their gut to bring their immunity back up again. So please, please, please don't start popping antibiotics during this fear of the virus, because it's going to do you no good to fight off the virus. Antibiotics are only meant to kill off bacteria and molds and things like that. So that's the first thing. Antibiotics will not work against the coronavirus. virus. All right, number 2, I want to teach some very simple things that you can do around your house on a daily basis. And these are some things that we're starting to implement. First thing is salt water. Now, viruses, bacteria, molds, they don't live well in a salty environment. Now, there are some bacteria that are meant to live in that environment. But for the most part, this is why historically, before we had refrigeration, is they would add one of 2 things to preserve our food, to have our food last longer. They would add salt or sugar. So in this case, what we want to do is we want to use salt. And the way you're going to do it is you are going to put some salt in some warm water and you're going to gargle. And what happens when we do this is the kind of bad bugs or viruses or bacteria that are in your mouth and then even going back into the back of your throat, that salt water will kill off any kind of colonies that are starting to possibly ramp up. So I suggest doing this twice a day, and anyone in your family can do this, and it's inexpensive and it's simple. And one of the things we know about the coronavirus is that it affects the respiratory system. So this is just a simple, inexpensive way that you can start being proactive in just keeping, keeping the count of anything that you might have been exposed to, keeping it down. Another thing that some people will do during this time, especially to keep the respiratory system healthy, is they have things called, they're called a neti pot. And if you're not familiar with a neti pot is a little pot, and it's used in alternative medicine. And you put salt water in these neti pots, and literally that water is meant to go up into the nasal passages, and there's a way to work with that. Some people that kind of freaks them out. It's not for everyone, but I will tell you it's a great way to clear out a sinus infection and to keep the respiratory system nice and clear and healthy. So even if you don't have symptoms, or if you do, let's say you have a stuffy nose, some sinus headaches, this is a great tool to really start to cleanse and to heal the nasal passages. So those are two uses for salt water. Some other things that you can do, I've been doing this daily. In the morning, I get up and hello, Kimberly, is sea salt okay? Absolutely, absolutely. In fact, in the neti pots, they have like a specialized salt that I think salt is salt, but it actually dissolves a little bit faster. So yes, sea salt is fantastic, and it is preferred, but you can use any kind of salt that you have, Morton salt or whatever. So the other thing that I've been doing daily, and this is a great practice, even outside of this pandemic, the good old lemon. It is so powerful, and it's high in antioxidants, and it's high in natural vitamin C. So you can cut a half of a lemon and squeeze it, a little hot water. You could add a little bit of maple syrup or honey, and you could even add a little cayenne pepper, a little bit of that powder. And we know that that has many different therapeutic benefits. The fact that it's warm, it will stimulate the liver to kind of start to flush out toxins. If you can do it first thing in the morning, it's a great way to start the day, and it's a great immune builder, immune booster. If you are feeling some respiratory symptoms, I've been doing this for years, where I'll take the whole lemon and I'll put it in a thermos with hot water and honey, or either maple syrup, and I'll sip it throughout the day. So we don't have any symptoms here in the Shu household, and the simple lemon is just a great way to begin to boost your immunity in a really natural, easy, effective way. Some other tools that I use in the kitchen, especially during this pandemic, I've been upping my use of garlic. Hello, Alexana. And garlic is a great antibiotic, antiviral. So, many of you are isolated, so who cares if you stink? Start really using garlic in your food, and you could juice it if you have a juicer. although it has a very strong flavor to it. But go ahead and up your usage of good old-fashioned garlic. All right. It's not just to keep away the vampires. Some other things that are great to build the immunity is fresh herbs. Right here, you're going to see, and I only use organic, but fresh parsley and fresh cilantro. And if you have the ability to go to your grocery store and just load up on this, you can put it in smoothies, you can juice it, and the trace minerals that are found in these dark herbs are just fantastic for your immunity. And so start to include some fresh herbs. It's also going to up the taste of the food that you're eating. So those are a couple things. The last one, just to have around the house, fresh ginger. And, you know, a little bit goes a long way, but ginger is also fantastic. And you can just put in, you could take small slices and put it in hot water. You can make a ginger tea. And ginger is also great to soothe the tummy. So if you're having any tummy symptoms, ginger is fantastic. Let's go ahead and move on to some of the other practices that I have been using. One is using a diffuser in the home. And our diffuser is actually, it's behind me. Some of the oils that we know are fantastic antivirals would be like lavender, frankincense. Think about it biblically. One of the things they brought baby Jesus is frankincense, the 3 wise men. That was one of the gifts of the Magi. And so the reason being is because frankincense has fantastic healing properties. You can apply it to your skin, and this includes the lavender, and I've got some other blends. Peppermint is fantastic for respiration, but using diffusers to clean the air in your environment, and as you breathe it, you're also bringing in the healing properties as you breathe it. So really consider, and diffusers are really inexpensive, and it's a way to boost your immunity and maybe kill off some things that are in your environment, get the air cleaner. So I highly recommend a diffuser. So lastly, what I wanted to talk about are a couple, 3 different supplements. I mean, I could go on and on and on about ways to improve your immunity, but I wanted this conversation about ways to make it really simple and really inexpensive. I know this is a time where we're all more conscious of what we're spending. So I wanted to focus on that today. What are some simple things? One of my absolute favorite immune building minerals that many of you are deficient in and you don't even know it is zinc. Now this is a liquid form of zinc. This is called zinc sulfate. You can also get good old-fashioned zinc chelate, which comes in little capsules. Zinc is really inexpensive. What I love about the liquid form is that we know that the body is digesting it. So I put, 7 or 8 drops of this in water, and sometimes I'll do it a couple times a day. And zinc is so important in immunity. And if you are deficient, which most Americans are, is that you aren't going to be able to fight off whatever comes your way. So adding zinc to your protocol of just a regular daily maintenance of your health and your immune function, I encourage you to do this daily, even after this pandemic is gone. The recommended dose I like is 50 milligrams of zinc. It's to be taken with food as an immune builder. Some people that might upset their tummy, and so you can divide that dose in 2. Now, if you're doing the liquid zinc, that might be a little bit much. I wouldn't do 50 drops all at once, that's for sure. But taken throughout the day, so your body is able to take that trace mineral, or not that trace mineral, that mineral in to build your immunity. So zinc is a must during this time, and the zinc chelate form is really, as I said, really inexpensive. The other thing that I think is paramount especially for women and men, actually. I say especially women because of the direct relationship to our hormones, and I work with a lot of women in their 30s and 40s and 50s, and our hormones are beginning to change. And this one, D3. D3, it's actually considered a hormone, and it is so important. And you can see here, what's the thing it says on it? Can you ladies see that? Immune health. All right. So we do get vitamin D from the sun, and many of us are quarantined, and for most women, they're just not getting enough. Even if it's the summertime and they're out all the time, they're still not absorbing enough vitamin D. So having this as a regular supplement is really important for immune function and immune health. The dose that I recommend is 5,000 international units. And so whether you're talking about the coronavirus or just keeping your immune system high and keeping it healthy, vitamin D is also important for the absorption of calcium. And so when we're thinking of bone health, it's also very, very important. Again, vitamin D3, very inexpensive. It comes in this example. I mean, there are 400 soft gels, and if you don't like taking supplements, look how small these babies are. They're so small, tiny, tiny, one a day. If you get the 5,000, it's also important for healthy bones and teeth. And so for those ladies that you know that you're already what's called osteoporotic, meaning the bone density is less than it should be, or there's a family history of low bone density, you've got to be taking your vitamin D. Then the third thing is your omega-3s. Your omega-3s. The omega-3s come in many different formats. You can take omega-3s via fish oils. It's my favorite format of omega-3s, because it also has something that's really important for brain health called DHEA, and you can take a teaspoon a day in the liquid form. Or if you don't want to take the fish oil, you can do a more vegan format, which would be flax seeds. And you don't even have to get the oil version of it. You can take flax seeds and get ground organic flax seeds, and if you could get, say, 2 tablespoons of organic ground flaxseed in your body daily, it's going to just be so much, you're going to be so much healthier for many different reasons. If you do the ground flaxseed, it's also great for gut health. So I recommend putting it in water with a little slurry before bed, taken generally away from your supplements, because that extra fiber will slow down the absorption of other supplements that you might be taking. So to recap today, so that you're a rock star when it comes to immunity, and a lot of the game that we're playing right now is between our ears. It's mindset. And so what I shared with you today are what are some simple things that you can begin to implement to boost your immunity, but never forget the importance of a positive mindset, because that will also boost your immunity. So number one, what we covered is that this is a virus that we're talking about. Antibiotics will not kill it. So please don't start taking those antibiotics that are maybe they've been sitting around in your medicine chest, or call your doc and try to get some to stock up on during this pandemic. Antibiotics will not work. Number two, start to add some simple things to your daily regimen. And some of the things that we talked about is gargling with warm salt water to help just keep the nasal passages and oral passages clear of viruses and bacteria. Gargling will help here. And then if you want to get what's called a neti pot, you can begin to clear out the nasal passages. We also talked about the power of lemons. We talked about the power of garlic. We talked about the power of organic herbs and how they are important. We also talked about ginger. And then my 3 favorite supplements, as I shared, to boost, that are simple and inexpensive. We talked about vitamin D3, zinc, and omega-3. 3. So if you liked today, be sure to like our page. Comment below if you feel empowered. All you need to do is type in empowered. So I'm Dr. Kelly Martin Shue, Amazon bestselling author, speaker, and relationship and dating coach. And I am here to serve you, especially during this pandemic. Let's gather in community, and be sure to join me every Tuesday. And we are here to really live out our destiny. And I believe that love is your destiny. Signing off.